Welcome to Not Near Mint. Today is January the 29th, 2020, and this is our new intro. We're going to start kicking things off every week by showing a new trance anthem. Today, we just brought to you O.C. and Verde. The name of the song is called Mondo Shawan. So, today, we do not have with us, unfortunately, Miracleman. He is out today. He will be back next week, or so we hope. So let's get on to the new comic books of the day, shall we? How about we go and jump around to saying, hi, Lady Fantastic.
Hi, Rob. How are you doing? Hi, Chad. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm feeling wild and crazy. I'm ready to share my stories of addiction.
Oh, you know. But first, did you get any new comic books this week? Might be new, older. What did you get?
So I did a video yesterday, actually, of some of my new pickups, but there are some things that I haven't shown, I don't think, but I'm not sure. I did just recently get this Moon Knight 16, just slowly piecing it together, trying to find them on the cheap where I can. And okay, here we go. So I'll show you a couple of lookers. I got this yesterday. This Thor 180 When Gods Go Mad. Oh, it's in really nice shape and it's so beautiful. And I got it for 50% off. So that made me really excited. Then there was this guy online that I went back and forth with on the bidding, but we had a really good interaction. Like, he was super nice and fair, I think. And I got a couple of books from him, and one was this Defenders 3 that is just in beautiful shape. I could just kiss it. It's so crisp and beautiful and fresh. And this book as well from him, this Defenders 12. And I mean, dude, Zenmu, I like Zenmu. He's my guy. Like, he's just like a fluffy, lovable fellow. And if you guys saw it, the Immortal Hulk that came out this week actually features him on the cover. I didn't get new books, so I'm sad about that, but because I'm a big lover of the Zenmu, I knew what was up and what was coming out. And this is just like a Defenders 21. This was also in really nice shape, and I think it was like $1 or $2, so I picked it up. Yeah, let's see. Oh, just a couple of things I want to show. These Kirby Demon pickups. I love the DC Kirby because he got to get a little wilder and crazier with his ideas, and it made me happy to find these. These are number 13 and number 16, and I just, I got a great deal on them. They make it doesn't take much, but then again, we're going to talk about like making me happy. What does they make me happy really mean? You know what I mean? So 5 minutes later, do I feel the same way? Just trying to be honest with myself and my feelings. Oh, hey, can I do the one thing, the bake box thing?
By all means, go right ahead.
Okay. See, look, it was my little stack of books. It was like my little name thing was hiding it. All right, so a few days ago, I received a bake box. I would assume that Bake the Snake sent it to me, but he sent a message in the IG thing today, and he was like, hey, someone... I would assume that Bake the Snake sent it to me. Whoops. All right. So, that being said, he sent me a message that he said, hey, be on the lookout. Someone got you a bake box for an A-OK. And I don't know if that's just him trying to be sneaky and he sent it or what, but whoever sent it, thank you. And Bake, thank you for just putting the little nuggets together because I really liked the books. Now, I'm going to show you something. One of the books that I got was an X Factor 1, okay? So it is a little lighter, and I just wonder, hey, was the ink running dry or... Because it's in nice shape. It could be sun, but I'm going to show you. I had another X Factor 1, but I'm glad I got this because look at my pair. It's like opposite end of the spectrum. So, oh crap, I can't get these in because my orientation in space is terrible. When it's reverse. So yeah, 2 X Factors. Or wait, same book, vastly different presentation. So thanks so much for that. I was really excited to get an extra one just because I'm sick. All right. These were other things. So I have never really heard of these, but I'm so totally willing to give it a read. Electric Warriors, DC. What does it say? Let the Galactic Games begin. Not familiar with the Electric Warriors, but, you know, I should be now. That was in the box. And then, okay, I'm going to show you the DC ones, and I just don't know as much. I'm very DC naive. And so, yeah, I'm just going to say that, preface that. But I got a Suicide Squad defeated. And, you know, anytime you got a big-ass shark dude, as you know, that's nothing to scoff at. So that's serious business. So there's that. And then I got a Teen Titans 26. And it's quite nice. I mean, again, I am not familiar with the Teen Titans, but I like that they have the spread of the characters on here. Quite nice.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning of his run when you have the Teen Titans of the future and they're the Justice League.
Oh, shit.
Damian as Batman and Superboy as Superman. It was awesome.
Also, I got the DC Vertigo line Hex Wives #1. And Hex Wives #2 is Steven Spock's here. Spock, do you consider that a reflection? Because, you know, if you do, we'll talk. But I don't think you'll consider it a reflection, but who knows? I don't know. You're kind of crazy. And then this Spider-Girl 48, this is a badass cover because Peter's getting, or whoever it is getting the shit beat out of him. And then you've got Spider-Girl back here, and she's like, I'm coming, Pookie. Yeah. I don't know what the relationship's really like, but anyways. And then this Marvel Rising Alpha #1, because I am so glad that I got that. Thank you, because I actually have Marvel Rising #1. So yeah, y'all may think it's dumb, but I think it's squeak cute. I like it. Thanks so much for the Bake Box Bake and for your mystery patron. Anyways, that's Rob. I've chatted enough.
Well, I guess it's time for that next portion of the show where we ask, or rather, I ask the question, I don't know, what's in the briefcase? It was a bit of a heavier week this week, so let's zoom in on me and see what I got. So the new layout today is that, it looks like Avengers of the Wasteland finally came out. I have read nothing this week because my boss sent me to a late job. I got home with minutes to spare, and here I am getting ready for the show. So please forgive me for the slightly abrupt sort of look. Hopefully next week we'll get everything sorted out so that the music at the beginning sounds good and synchronized. And when I drop all these books on the table, you'll know what they are. And much like Lady Fantastic this week, I got an A-OK too. I had to ask around, dude, who sent me these books? Wait, forget who sent me these books. Second, how did they get my address? Because I have this weird fear of being swatted by some internet troll. When it comes to the comic book community, it is not something we have to worry so much about. Because if you're watching these YouTube shows with us, chances are, if you're dropping a thumbs down, you're only watching for about 20 seconds and you're out. Not long enough to harass or find out my address. So to Chad RCG, I thank you so much for you'll see it at the very end. So without further ado, Avengers of the Wasteland, this picks up right after the Old Man Quill, where Danny Cage, daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, alias, this is the progeny. She got herself a Thor hammer. She is now Thor. We have Avengers number 30. In this issue, we finally get the Star Brand. It's a baby. Hey, Life with Two YouTubers. Sharon, what's my address? It's, I'm going to give my parents. 8421 Forest Hills Drive, apartment 308, Coral Springs, Florida, 33065. My parents. Captain America number 18. This is the rest of the Ta-Nehisi Coates Scourge cover. I've loved Scourge ever since the 80s when he first appeared in Captain. He murdered like 30 people in one issue. It was amazing. This is the Doctor Strange variant edition of, the new Mark Waid run title of Doctor Strange. Looking forward to reading it. And looking at what Kachu is saying, Neil Adams is so good. Yes, he is. That's why I have myself the first time he starts working on this title right here. We did a discussion on this last week. For those that didn't click in, we did an episode on how I destroyed this comic where somebody neglected to take off the tape. That was not me, but you can always benefit from those that have made mistakes.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. So moving on, we have the Peach Momoko variant of Captain Marvel.
Is that watercolor?
It looks like it has some watercolor, a little bit of mixed media in there because I can notice some of the crayon sort of element.
I love mixed media.
Oh, me too. I mean,
it's the best.
Captain Marvel isn't the highest selling book, but Peach Momoko just came on the scene this last year, and she's been killing it with the covers. She has a very devoted fan base, and when I saw this cover just sitting there for cover price, I just had to have it.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, and I didn't even pick up every variant copy this week because there were a few things like this Avengers of the Wasteland. There was a variant cover for this, but between the variant and this cover, I will pick this cover every time. Because these days, it doesn't matter that something is just a variant. It has to have like a first appearance on it. Just look at Batman Beyond number 36 that came out, and the variant goes for less than what was actually, the regular price. Speaking of which, I'm just going to throw up here. This is going to be, as soon as my mouse works again, I'll just show the next book until then. Deadpool, the End, number 1. This is the variant version. I don't know if Deadpool can die, but we'll figure that out sooner rather than later, one would hope. So moving on, we have Doctor Strange, the End. Haven't read that either. Looking forward to reading it. So also I'm going to leave up here at the bottom of the screen. It is the worst top 6 of this week. And for that, All I'm doing is not giving you the CDSI or the key collector top 10. Instead, these are the ones that I feel are the ones that will likely hold their value instead of just spiking for a week and all of a sudden it's gone. So the top 6 for this week, Fear Agent number 1, it's Rick Remender. It went for a pretty good long time. I think it's 30, 40 issues. I don't know. I have the whole run. I appreciated it when it came out, but largely I've forgotten about it. Batman Beyond 25 spiked to about $30 this week because it's the first appearance of Nightwing's daughter. 36.
Oh, that's the one I want.
Oh, yeah.
Sexy Zenmu.
Love it. 36 appearance of Batwoman Beyond, and 40 being The Revelation. And coming up, the very final book of the week that is in my top 6, Swamp Thing number 50, just because of the fact that it is the first appearance of the unspecified Justice League Dark. So moving on, we have Immortal Hulk number 30. This is the regular cover because why would you get anything that's not an Alex Ross?
Uh-huh.
Which will see another book that came out this week where it was Alex Ross, so I'm not going to get the variant because just why? Speaking of why, Star Wars number 2, this continues on with The Empire Strikes Back. I'll probably drop it after this because I just don't really care about titles that are licensed properties. Which brings me to another subject that happened this week. IDW posted a loss of $26 million. That is staggering. And I can only imagine a good portion of that was likely due to the fact that, well, don't license a product and not know what you're doing with it, because then you're stuck in a contract you can't get out of.
Where did it go? Where did that 26 million go?
Good questions. Definitely not in the pockets of the creators, because from what we hear, creators at IDW are not paid as much as you might think. Comic book people in general are not paid as much as you might think.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of those, keep that in the back of your head whenever you're, vocalizing how much disdain and hatred you have for whatever book came out from a creator this week. They're not paid that much.
So
you're making more than they do.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read this.
If you guys want to watch or learn about kind of the history in comics and the how artists began to leverage their work for actual monetary compensation, is watch the history of Image. You can find it on YouTube, but it's really good because the history of Image, they are all artists. And anyway, sorry.
Oh, and I'm seeing here from when we were talking about Peach Momoko earlier. Goat99 says Peach Momoko Ghost Spider number 2 is worth $250. He pre-ordered 2 copies of this. So it's important. Final order cutoff Mondays. Simple Man does a broadcast on that. Watch that if you want to be apprised of what goes on. So moving on, this is the Thor variant cover that came out this week. It kind of reminds me of the Miles Morales one that came out half a year ago. It looks cool, but I'm getting this because, spoiler alert, Thor is the new herald of Galactus.
Do you know, oh, that's so fucking amazing. I gotta get that one right there, dude.
Is the Man-Thing with a machine gun. And notice up here, because if you feel fear, you will burn at the touch of the Man-Thing.
There's nothing more goddamn American than that cover right there. Fucking send them motherfuckers to Iraq. Sorry, this is not a show for children. Sorry.
I guess we got to put that banner up now, don't we?
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, Not Near Mint is rated 18 and over due to adult language, adult themes, and immature content. If you're under the age of 18, you should probably click off right now, but let's face it, that's not going to happen because you're here to know about comic books, right?
We've just ruined you for life.
You're no longer pure. Yeehaw, says Ricardo Rodriguez. Good to see you, my man, my hiring attorney down here in Miami, Florida. If you need a lawyer, hit up Ricardo Rodriguez.
I'm just going to call him the Esquire.
Yeah, he's totally cool. You should meet him in person once you come down here.
Oh my God.
All right, moving on from Weapon X. I have so much Man-Thing. I am loving Man-Thing.
I'm sorry, Speedy.
I even got a giant size giant size X-Men, a giant size Man-Thing #1 just this past week.
You do have a giant size Man-Thing, and it is #1.
It's just
Who does too?
Sorry, everybody. Fallen Angels #6, and you'll notice I did not get an X-Men #5 today because I called around, I talked to a few shop owners, and X-Men 5 over here on the East Coast, at least down here in Florida, many shops did not receive that in. So if there's anything special going on in 5, because 4 was amazing. 5, I don't know what goes on with it, but because several of these comic stores didn't get it, if you can snap up an extra copy, it might not be a bad idea. Also picked up a variant, because there were a few variants that came out today of the X-Men series, and out of all of them, I just went with this one. The others look a bit wooden and stiff, but man, give me...
Is that Dazzler?
It is Dazzler. We love Dazzler.
Who did that art?
I almost want to say that this is Peach Momoko too, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Let me see here. I think it says it down here at the bottom. Nope, no, it does not. I have no idea. If anybody knows, please put the answer in the chat.
Ask the Google machine.
So Dylan's Comics Rant saying they changed the artist. RB Silva did the interiors. Same dude who did the Powers of X artwork. So dope for X-Men 5.
The guy that did... Oh, I'm thinking of House of X, Powers of X. I was thinking of Pedro Moraz. I wish they brought him, dude. He was the shit.
Oh, yeah, he was. Is.
Yes.
Look at me talking in past tense.
Meow, meow.
Meow. Action Comics 1019. Brian Michael Bendis is still writing it, people. So this is what I have to say about that. Detective Comics Annual #3. This is written by Mr. Tomasi, the guy that actually made Jonathan Kent, the little kid, really good before Brian Michael Bendis, well, just Bendis the character for his Legion of Superheroes. God damn it. So this is one that I picked out the regular cover this week because it looks, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is Alex Ross, and the variant did not look nearly as good as this one. So I stuck with Alex Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Always pick Mr. Ross.
Heck yeah.
Moving on, issue #87 of The Flash. This is the 87th issue of a series that I haven't read more than 2 issues. This is going to go on into the portion of what we're talking about tonight. Are we addicted? I don't know. I have 87 issues of The Flash I haven't read. Well, maybe 85. Green Lantern Black Stars #3. This is by Grant Morrison. And if you're finding this a bit too obtuse and difficult to read, there is Far Sector. It's a lot easier to read. But face it, once Grant Morrison finishes a project and you read it all the way through, you realize the masterclass that it is. So I'll wait until he finishes. Justice League 39, I am hearing that Mr. Snyder is wrapping up his run, and then someone else will jump on the book, and I will stop picking it up. Maybe. Let's face it, no, I'm not. Oh, thank you very much. Goat99 says, great show tonight. Thank you so much. I never know if it's good. I never know if it's bad. We need you to tell us. If there's anything that you want us to focus on, please let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comment. A comment we'll read and figure out, hey, maybe we should try this. Kind of like opening up the show with a little bit of music.
Goat99,
So
I really
moving on.
like your picture with your cat. Look at his Goat99's little fucking thing. Sorry.
We love the kitty.
I know. Good, good. Sorry.
Every single time I'll take a cat.
We're crazy cat people. Comic people are crazy cat people.
If you have a YouTube channel, chances are you have a cat. It's on brand. Speaking of on brand, we have Redneck #25, creator-owned series by Mr. Donnie Cates. I know I must be missing a couple issues since I changed my shop over to, as most people know, if you ever want to find me on a Wednesday, you can always find me at Frank's Comics. Frank's Comics is located at 2678 Southwest 87th Avenue in Miami, Florida, 33165. He has some great books. He has mostly the keys. He has them on display, and he prices them to move. Moving on, he finally got me my issue 101 along with 102 of IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You better be snapping these things up quickly, folks, because IDW might be on its last legs. It could go out of business at any minute. This series could be the next Miracleman, because as we remember, Miracleman, it just ended at issue 24 due to
and those last few are the ones that are the best.
Oh yeah, it was. They were done by Neil Gaiman. It's so good. And speaking of so good, this is Avengers 137. This is one of those books that I picked up from, again, we'll just show you that card, Frank's Comics in Miami, Florida. He was hesitant to get rid of it because this is the first time that Beast joins the team. But Key Collector Comics app, as much as I like the app, isn't always 100%. I only noticed this past week that they put in issue 151, which is when Beast officially joins the team, that they put a little side note that in issue 137 is when he kind of joins the team, but it's official in 151. It's kind of like how that Iron Man, the first appearance of Rhodey in costume, is it 169 or 170? Is it a cameo or first appearance? All this kind of crap. But comic book fans, people like us, we do like our minutia. We do like to argue about, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. See, look at this. No, look at this. It makes us what we are. It makes the world turn. And the last couple issues that I picked up here, I saw a ROM issue 17 as well as 18. And ROM, I don't know much about the character, but I apparently am now starting to work on my X-Men. So here's some early appearances of X-Men. Now, as I begun the show, and I'm talking about these AOKs, I wasn't asking for a Vampire Hunter D #1 from Stranger, but here it is. I thank you, Chad RCG. If you are in the chat, I know that he is on Instagram. He helps out with Strictly Comics and their charity auctions that they do, so go sub him up. And since this is the very last book that I have to show right there, I will jump back over to this camera so that I can rejoin with my co-host, Lady Fantastic. Because tonight, our discussion is, well, I'm sure you've been waiting about the last 27 minutes so you could get to how would you know if you're addicted to comic books?
So,
how would you know, Lady Fantastic?
I think what you should say first is, how do you know if you're addicted?
Good question. How do you know if you're just addicted? In general, what is addiction? You're a scientist, so you would have the heads up. How about we give the floor to Lady Fantastic?
So, addiction can be defined by any sort of behavior that in the short term gives you pleasure or relief, but in the long term is a bad choice or is detrimental over time. And that could be a number of things. You know, it could be your finances, it could be sexual indiscretion, it could be drugs, you know, whatever. Or it could be comic books. So, you know, when do you stop buying? You have so much money. When does it become an issue? And I think what we're talking about is, in the context of addiction, would be, does buying comics affect your budget, and to what extent? And if I'm going to be honest with myself, I spend too much money on comics. That's what I'm going to say for now. Rob?
So do I.
Just got to make these honest admissions with ourselves. You know, I'm not going to beat myself up too much, but I'm not going to deny the fact that I spend too much money on comics. So, when you guys, So then it's another question is, from where does addiction arise? Why does one get to that point? And it's to fill a void. And for us, perhaps consumption is a void. I don't know. At the same time, there's healthy ways to do this, and there aren't. And sometimes the line is very fine, and it gets blurred. But I'm just going to push it back to Rob and see what he has to say in terms of these things. You guys, yes, space becomes an issue, like Mark Knapp says. And so, and it also causes you, I think, to reprioritize in terms of how you collect. And so, and I guess considering it to be an addiction is really dependent upon your income, your lifestyle, because certain people can afford to get lots and it not be an issue for their budgets. Other people that aren't super rich, I've made dumb choices and gotten books when I shouldn't have, but nothing. I have. So there you go. Take $500 from me. I will set you free, Ricardo. I will set you free with some shit books. 500 of them.
If you really want those 500 comic books, I'm just going to grab this camera here. You want those? You see that bottom 2 shelves there? You can have all of those, because that would clear out some great amount of space for me, so that way I don't have to worry about them anymore.
I'll send you some stuff. You might not like it, but they'll be comics. So, what do you guys think out here? Do y'all? I don't know. Sometimes this is a hard thing to talk about. It's honest, but sometimes it's hard to be honest with yourself. At least I find that, and you got to take stock, and it makes you think, why do I feel like this void never gets filled? Like if I get some comic and then it's like, yeah, but I need another or whatever. When does it stop being something that's enjoyable and then something that's compulsive?
So for me, just as some people might know, I am a recovering alcoholic. So I know right away, right from AA, and we did see somebody in here saying, wow, it's a big AA meeting in here. Only it's comics, so it's a little bit cooler or a little nerdier, depending on your view. So you have a problem when your life has become unmanageable and you can no longer handle your day-to-day life, whether that be dressing. And I'm pretty sure you can dress yourself if you're collecting comics. But can you pay your rent? Can you pay your car payment? Can you pay insurance? Can you keep the lights on in your home? Some of those things that we might wind up doing if we are not geeking responsibly, and I put this in here, like, has your life and finances become unmanageable because of your collecting? Can you not pay taxes? Can you not pay for a bill that really needs to be paid for? Are there things that you are going without? And I don't mean getting ramen noodles instead of that steak dinner. I mean, are you really going without? I don't know. What do you think?
Frankly, I think no amount of stuff is going to fill whatever void we've got. I think comics should be enjoyed for comics' sake, but there can be a part of it that it's the acquisition becomes an addictive thing. If you can keep it in check, and what is in check for me might not be in check for you. Everybody's got you have to know yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes it takes a come to Jesus talk with yourself, because you're only fooling you if you're spending too much money on shit. And why are we getting, why do we have to get these things? Why do we, I mean, honestly, people lived a long time without having comic books, but we love them because it's a beautiful form of art. We're lucky in the sense that we live in a time where we can appreciate culture, and I don't think that we should be robbed of that. At the same time, because we live in such a consumerist society, we probably need to be wary of how much we indulge, because indulgence is a thing. And, it's having self-control is like a thing, dude. It's a good deal. It's a thing. And being overindulgent actually lessens the pleasure that you get from whatever you were initially chasing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And just like how we were talking right before we started this episode, we were talking about filling a void. Comichead84 just remarked, if I'm being honest, it's probably not a coincidence that I got heavy back into buying comics after a breakup. Filling that void, dog.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for the most part, whenever I'm going and buying books, am I going to read it? Or is it just going to go right into the next box and the next box and the next box? And before you know it, you have about 10 boxes of books and not a single one of them you've read, which is okay if you're only getting it for the artwork. But when it's just one after the other, and it's not really that you're even enjoying it, it's just because I got to get that next one. I got to get that next one. I liken it to back when I was drinking. Now, for me, it was thinking, well, as long as I can get through the day, I'll just have this much more and this much more, until I've long since forgotten about that last time I said just this much more, because by this point, I'm way too in over my head, and now I'm waking up in other places that I don't remember how I got there, which, similar to comic books, if you're winding up in a small room like what you're seeing here, and it just keeps bundling and bundling to the point where you might have several boxes collapse on top of you. I have a saying at the end of every show. Rule number 1, don't die. Because if you die, you can no longer effectuate change, whether it's for your life or what you want to do or how you want to see yourself in the future. Don't die. So if it's gotten to the point where your books could collapse on you, or that you have all these books, not a single one of them are bagged or boarded or filed or put away, and they're mounting. You are not organizing, you're not cataloging, you're just buying it to buy, then most certainly, yes, you can say, my name is Rob Wurst, and I have an addiction problem. And I was like that for a time. I was collecting all these books, and I was reading them every single week. Would not file them, wouldn't even put them in a bag or board. And then it took Aaron Myers from Twitter to show a different way of buying. And then I looked at Comic Tom talking about this and how he decorated his boxes. And I took a very janky, screwed up looking collection to looking like how it does today. Now, I can say that back about 5-6 years ago, when I was a flaming alcoholic, that yes, I was a comic book addict, and I had a real problem. I can still say today that I have a bit of a problem. Every week when I get paid, I really have that itch, that urge to fill in. I have a little list here. These are all the books that I am currently looking for those that want to take a snapshot. And these are just some X-Men, some Thors, some Iron Mans. This isn't even a full list. But I grab this list, I run to the shop and see what can I get. Most of these are keys, and I just cross them off as I get them. I only made this list up just the prior weekend before going out to the BTL Collectibles show. And I was finding myself getting 2, 3 of the same book because I didn't know. I had nothing written down. I had no CLZ, no Go Collect, and that's what I was doing. So perhaps it should be more or less about focusing. So here's one thing I'll put out there. Coming up in April is MegaCon down here in Florida. Steve Whiting said that he was going to give me a Hulk 271, first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. I am dying for that book. but I'm afraid to death of going to large venue areas anymore. After Vegas, the shooting that happened there where almost 50 people were killed, I've been shot before. So that's another question that I have to ask myself. What am I willing to compromise? I'm willing to get shot, apparently, in my mind, because that's addiction, where you can overlook risks so critical that it might be critical to your life. Where, again, rule number one, don't die. So there's a pretty good definition of how I view addiction as far as comic books are concerned. Better than crack, says Lee Fantastic.
Yeah, man. So I'm making goofy comments here. So, like, I work in an RNA binding protein lab, and the thing is like, we study it in the context of viral infection. And so I've been like super excited about this Wuhan. Yeah, it's sick. And so I just wanted to make the comment. Got the Wuhan. Like, whoa. Sorry. All right, man. So, yeah. It's something that I'm aware of that can be a problem, but I try and keep it in check. I find comics to be very, very enjoyable, and it is much better than other addictive behaviors. And, you know, if you have the right to do whatever you want to with your own money and your own body, you know, but addiction is, you know, it stems from something deeper. And I think trying to explore maybe what causes that need to feel something would be a healthy and good thing to do. And at the same time, if you do that, you can also enjoy comics and maybe like not spend all of your money on it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to integrate some of this, like, yeah, there could be some deeper stuff behind the reason why some people might go and like buy a whole fucking stack of shit. And maybe you might want to just be a little more aware of like, did something shitty happen and am I in a weird mood or something? And that's why I need to go and buy like this fucking huge run that I didn't need to like 2 hours before. You know, just things like that. I don't know. Am I getting weird?
Not at all.
Am I getting weird?
One thing that I do want to throw out here, and just give me one moment here.
Oh, Ricardo, no way. RNA is so much better than DNA. DNA is stable and boring. RNA is very dynamic. But that's just my opinion.
So here is what I wanted to throw out here because I do this every episode. We have some breaking news for you. Join the discussion tonight, but that isn't it. Go ahead, click on that link. We're going to drop that in the chat room again. But Lady Fantastic, breaking news, is almost at 400 subs. If you're in the chat room and you're not subbed to Lady Fantastic, push her over the 400 mark. Help her reach.
Dude, I'm so fucking cool. Don't even. No.
Yeah. We're so cool that we have to throw up. Viewer discretion advised. Bitches.
Mother effers. Bitches and hoes. Holy crap.
For those that are playing this in a comic book shop, we do like the discussion. We drop some F-bombs because by and large, when it comes to addiction, people that are addicted generally tend to be a little bit smarter than most people. Not saying that we're geniuses or anything, but our minds might race a little more. We stay up later. Hell, look at the two of us. We're up right now at going on almost 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday, New Comic Book Wednesday, January the 29th, 2020. And, you know, we stay up late. We need to blow off steam. And sometimes people will do that with alcohol. Sometimes people might do that with a little bit of weed, but let's just quote the movie Half Baked. You ever suck dick for some coke? I suck dick for coke. You ever suck dick for weed? No. Yeah, no, I'm not going to even go there. But people that get addicted to things, yes, comic books are not the worst thing that you could be addicted to. At least you could possibly sell them later on and
Yeah,
have
like
a tangible product.
at the same time, like we have to put things in perspective. You guys, like we're not down at like Central Park sleeping and giving hand jobs for $5 to go buy a little balloon of like heroin on shit you see like on Intervention. We're blessed and fortunate if we have a roof over our heads and a reliable, income, and just as Americans, sometimes maybe I think we don't realize how grateful we should be for the shit that we have, and that we have the opportunity to collect like this. We got it fucking made, and we're not having to, inject shit every couple of hours, and we'll die if we don't. I mean, we can walk away from comic books and not die. Most of us can walk away from comic books and not die. So, we're in many ways, we are a population that, while we admit we might have some compulsive shit going on, we are all very fortunate. I think I feel that way, at least. I'm very fortunate to know all you guys, and I still can't believe that I have that many people that have subscribed. But I just try to be myself and show my books.
I have more than one person showing up in the live chat. I think I'm goddamn Quentin Tarantino. Now, I really don't think that, because the second that the camera goes off, the lights dim, and I go to my bedroom to go sleep because I have to wake up in 3 hours, I hit that depression right all over again. And I'm pretty sure to say that a lot of people that read comic books do have a certain form of depression, or perhaps something that might be missing. That's why we go to the superhero books, so that we can feel a bit more empowered.
Yeah.
Or the Vertigo books to feel like a little bit smarter. Because reading a regular book, you have to invest a lot of time into all these pages, especially the thickness of it. But just to grab this one here, and yeah, Vengeance #1. It's a top 10 book this week. It's thin. It's read and done in about 10 minutes. And you pick up a regular book, as much as I might like it, it's better than a magazine where you spend like 2 minutes on an article and you're done. You're focused. And the older you get, you're going to start noticing, especially once you get into your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, that people around you are going to start perhaps developing, I hate to say this, they'll get some dementia. They'll have Alzheimer's disease. And a good way to defeat that for many people is playing chess every day, or backgammon, or some games where it tests their mind. If you're reading about 5, 10, 20, 50 titles every month, and you have to keep up in your mind, keep all those storylines straight, and the correlation for all the first appearances from the 70s and the 50s and the 30s, and you have this all running in your head, you're already a whole lot better off than those people that are reaching those later stages of dementia where they aren't able to remember things, because you're testing your mind regularly just by reading, by picking up these books, by looking at Key Collector Comic App. So there's very positive ways that you can use that addiction, because no matter what in life, in moderation, anything is for the most part okay. And I don't mean take battery acid and pour it on your face, because,
and like you're saying, like
it's tiny bit.
It's a benign addiction. Like you're not gonna get AIDS from it. You know, I don't know.
Back in the 80s, they might have thought that.
I'm not trying to justify anything. I mean, yeah, I think that we all probably went to comics because we were all maybe outcasts or felt a little different. And so we related to the people that were a little different, and they felt kind of a internal struggle about revealing their true selves. And I think there's just a lot of symbolism in that young kids can very much relate to. And the whole hero archetype, is a very Western kind of fairy tale story. So in the context of pop pop culture, pop art, and the advent of the late 40s, early 50s, and this recognition that there are a subset of young people out there that kind of don't, they're not the jocks, they're not the perfect people, and they just go balls to the wall, science fiction. Do you feel alienated? Well, imagine being like ruler of the cosmos and just shit like that, and it's so we are all drawn to that, and that is not a bad thing. It is not bad to want to have these stories. It's bad when you can't pay your mortgage because you're buying too many books. You just got to be real with yourself. You know what I mean? Oh, coronavirus, the Wuhan. Join the Wuhan. You got it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure those little flimsy face masks are not going to prevent flu or any kind of virus from getting through. Because, those little masks, germs are really tiny. You really think that's going to... That's neither here nor there.
Dude, there's like a whole article about like how the masks that are for sale or whatever, frankly, the filters are too large, and that it would protect you from other people in terms of like your snot from getting on other people, but like that there are particulate water droplets and aerosols that are much smaller than the ones you create when you cough, and those can go through the filter. So it's like people here that are wearing it just look like jackasses. But whatever. It's not like I do science. I've seen some people around today at the hospital, and it's just like you can tell, I don't know, it's just like they're dinguses. But then at the same time, I can't judge because some of them could be just people that are really fucking sick and don't want to get other people sick.
Yeah, they could have HPV or something.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Other people's problems, you never quite think of it. You just go, hey, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, until you look down and realize, oh, crap, they don't have feet. I shouldn't have said anything.
HPV.
So I don't judge people because I never know how they woke up this morning, where they were before they came in front of my purview. Yeah, those masks are what I call D-bag chic, says Goat99.
It's so funny, dude. It's like, I just roll my eyes because it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's a placebo. Whatever makes you feel better, but spend your money on stupid shit. It's not like you've done your research, because if you did, you would know that they don't do shit, but whatever.
This is something that happened this week, just yesterday. As I was driving back from one of the Key West jobs I had, I got a text from my boss, and she goes to ask me, did you feel it? No, I actually got a notification on my phone that there was an earthquake, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake between Cuba and Jamaica, which would have meant that I probably should have felt it. But in reality, as we find out today, the day after it happens, that unless you were in a tall building that kind of swayed a little bit, like that much, you really didn't feel it. Another thing to keep in mind is you're looking at all comics. You don't know where things have come from. You don't know, hey, this thing is like really damaged at the bottom here. Yeah, it's called vibration fix, or a vibration, oh God, I forgot the word. That happens when I haven't slept for 3 days. Oops, I said that. So yeah, I didn't feel anything, but when I came home, what happened?
Aftershock.
Oh, look who's joining.
Hello.
Tony Fett with us.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. What's going on, everybody?
Nothing much, wild man.
Yay, thanks for letting me pop on for just a few minutes.
The confessional tonight.
It is a confessional. So who do you confess to? Your comic book store owner?
How about you confess to this?
The audience.
Have you ever put comic books on credit, or have you ever had to take a loan or sell things? Have you ever just gone into a bit of debt just because you had to have something? And did you have a regret or not?
I can answer that question. When I was very young, just starting off, young buck, I got I was 18. I got a secured credit card, small, had like $200 on it.
So you were rich.
That was my limit, was $200. So if I were to max out that card, $200, that ain't bad. So to this day, that's kind of like my limit is $200. So I still have it, still use it, and that's the budget I give myself. It's 200 bones. So not breaking any banks for sure.
I'm going to pop out for just 1 sec, but I'll be back in just a second.
Go right ahead, because we're getting people like the Gray Man in here going, he's huge.
Yeah, so we're all at different distances. Now,
Yeah,
I need ask him all of his personal questions while I'm off here for a second. Tell us everything. When your first kiss?
Right now, I'm just working on some new content, trying to get my editing skills back. So that's what I got working on. But this is a good topic. I'm curious to some of the other people and how they are going to respond. Who here has maybe splurged a little bit when they shouldn't have gotten that new book. I always have to check with my CFO, or as you guys know these people, my wife, to see if I can buy some books. She's the CFO of our household or company. But
back when I was married, I had something where this sounds really bad. I will do whatever you want me to do. Just please don't make me give up my new Comic Wednesday books. So I had a budget. It was about like $30 or $40 or so. It wasn't a lot, but it kept me going for all those amazing Spider-Man issues, all the Batman, all the Detective, all the core titles. But if something new popped up, like, sorry, I'll get the first issue, and it better be really goddamn good for me to continue on. But at least having a wife or a partner kept me in check. Now that I don't have anybody, I have nobody to keep in check. So it's now all on me. And me coming from somebody that's been through addiction, that is a very slippery slope. So when I'm seeing somebody like Chris Barrett that joins the chat occasionally, and he says, Rob, you're reckless. And I just found out he's half my age. And he's right. The wisdom in this. He says, you spent how much on that book? I'm not saying that's reckless that you bought it. I'm saying it's a reckless investment. Now, if you're spending almost like $2,000 on a book, I just saw somebody today, I think it was KRS Chris on Instagram and Twitter. He posted that his shop had a Batman 121 first appearance of Mr. Zero, Mr. Freeze, and $2,000. And it looks like it's at least a 6, maybe even a 7. But there's a big Post-it note in the corner of it. Either way, I'm going, oh my God, I'll pay it. Fuck no, I shouldn't do that. Taxes. That's going to be the most important, because, to the tax man, they go and look at this and they'll go, this is worth the exact same amount as this.
True. And
no.
And that old comic spell brings up a good point to the flip side of this whole argument is they technically are a form of investment. So, your other, vices might not be. So I think you bring up a good point.
You can't invest in smoked crack.
No. And you can't resell smoked crack, but you can resell an old red book.
This is true. Mm-hmm. This is true.
I mean, they hold
how House to the End says here, you have to have someone keep you grounded. And if you have 0 people in your life, you might go off in a direction where all of a sudden you're buying some random ass book no one has ever heard of because, hey, I know that Lady Fantastic knows a few people where they wind up sending out some AOKs or other books because for the most part, they won't tell anybody else, but they basically have everything. And now they have to focus on just some really minor detail where they go, you know what? I'm collecting these and these only. And then something else.
Very true. Goat99 has that question for everybody. And I do have somewhat of an answer. Random question for the chat. Whenever you paid the most for an expensive comic, would you spend that much again or another comic, or why or why not? I haven't spent a whole lot on any particular book, but I have paid what I feel is a little bit too much money on some signatures at conventions, and that's where I get in trouble is signature, especially if it's someone I really enjoy their work. I'll get them to sign a book. I've done it before, and I got to admit, I'm probably going to do it as often as possible. That's my hook. Everyone's got like some people they have to collect 9/8 on everything. Some people got to slab everything. My hook in the comic book thing, the big draw for me is I love signatures. I love collecting signatures, even on books that have absolutely no value and signatures that have no value. I still got to do it. I don't know why. That's my comic sweet tooth. That's what gets me.
And I'm pretty sure that it really does come down to preferences. You like having the signed book, and it doesn't matter apparently to you whether you got it signed yourself or if you get it secondhand, somebody else got it signed. I don't know if you might be certificate of authenticity only, or the certificate's just as good as me printing off on printer. I mean, I can print off a certificate of authenticity. I worked for a place called Swiss Watch International for about 13 years, and we're now long past the statute of limitations for me to tell you what I used to do for them. So back when I worked for Swiss Watch International, they sold Cartier watches. And for those that don't know Cartier watches, they start at about $1,500. You can go all the way up to about 30 grand or more with having diamond encrusted bezels, but they came with a certificate of authenticity.
Ooh.
And it had serial numbers on everything. So it was my job to get from that one watch, because they buy all this stuff gray market. It's the real thing, but they don't have the certificate. So I'd scan in the one certificate that they did have. I'd etch off the exact marking for the number, and I'd just start printing new numbers. So the person buying it, more often than not, unlike those people buying the CGCs that have a long tag number of a number that they can look up and see, yes, this is that exact book. I'm pretty sure the person that's buying the Cartier or the Tag Heuer or the Omega or the Rolex is probably not doing that. So my job as art director, partially, was creating certificate of authenticities. So really, it is a matter of preference. And that certificate of authenticity, again, I can print you up one.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of people who are trying to deceive and make a quick buck, but I think I have a keen eye of what's good and what isn't. But
yeah,
go ahead.
That old comment. Go ahead.
It's just like you both have been at it long enough. When if something smells weird, then something's weird. You know, like you can, like you said, if you've bought enough books to know, like when something seems fishy. Most of the time, there's still people that will screw you over, but I think we've been it long enough that we've gotten probably pooched a couple of times.
Oh, I know that we have, because there's people that I remember seeing a video last year where they were showing off the first appearance of, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was kind of important, but somebody got the book and they didn't realize, and even CGC didn't realize, that the book was trimmed. Now that Tales to Astonish that I showed last week, the first appearance of the Adaptoid, John Freshley from Fresh Comics, or rather Frank's Comics here in Miami, he let me borrow it. And one of the first things that Orlando, that runs the BTL Collectibles show, and I noticed is it was trimmed. And most people are not going to notice that. And if you've been around long enough, you can take an old Silver Age book, anything from about 1968 and before, and place it directly over a modern comic to notice something. If it almost lines up exactly, you might have yourself a trimmed book.
Yeah, that's a good information to know. A lot of people can spot a trim book, that effectively. But luckily, I haven't had that problem. Yeah, so far I've not had that problem. Everything that I've had slabbed is come back genuine, which is good.
Guys, I'm gonna have to jump off of here because I'm an old lady and I've got a lot of work in the lab ahead of me in the next few weeks. So I need to sleep.
We're going to try to cut these episodes down to about an hour each in the next, by the end of the year.
I don't know. I think it's fun to go over, but sometimes I have to be like, I don't care if y'all go all night, dude, but Granny needs her rest.
True.
I have to be awake at 3 a.m. so I can.
Yeah. Let me. I'm gonna pop off here too. We've got a little bit more work I want to try to get done. But Rob, thanks
for about another 5 minutes here, just so we can finish up the show.
I'll hang out for 5 minutes. No problem.
So since both of you were chiming off, we're gonna wrap this up here real quick. I'm just showing that Old Comic Smell said that he had retirement money, bought an Amazing Spider-Man #1 for $1,500. Today, that same edition, that same condition goes for $4,000. That was a good investment. And when I got myself the first Brainiac, the first Ra's al Ghul, the first Hawkeye, the first Vision, those are investment books. And yes, that could be considered an addiction. But when you're thinking of an investment, we also have in here just a little while ago, Ricky Ricardo is saying that a couple years back that he was investing in cryptocurrencies and he spent upwards of about $6,000. I cannot find where he posted about that, but that's what happened. So if you're trying to get something for an investment, great. If you have the money on hand. Personally, I don't even have a credit card. I know that sounds weird to people, but back when I was younger, I remember an older friend of mine saying that, hey, I just got a Visa. It's like, really? But I thought you didn't have money. Oh, I don't have money. But I also have a MasterCard, and I transferred all the debt from that to my new Visa. So now I have credit all over again. I don't think 10 years later he has credit anymore. So my thought was always, if I don't have the money in my pocket, in the bank, I don't have the money to spend on that book. I don't care how good the price is. As I say all the time, nothing is ever so rare, unless it might be Cursed Pirate Girl, that you have to buy it right then and there. There will always be another opportunity. There will always be another time coming.
Rob,
the CIA is not coming for me, Ricky Ricardo, that I know.
Rob, I don't have a credit card either.
So see, that's probably a good thing that's working in our favor so that we don't blow the bank where we go, yeah, it's great that we have the first appearance of fill in the blank, because now I need to pay that back. And now however much that comic's worth, we're now paying twice over that because we put ourselves in debt.
I know that I would not have the self-control, so I don't even engage in it. It's just like, fuck it. I don't need it. Boop. And like, honestly, you can get good credit without having credit cards. It's called like, if you pay your bills on time, all of these things count towards good credit. So don't let anybody tell you that you have to have credit card to get good credit, because that's some BS. Anyways.
True. So wrapping up the show here, promote yourself. Let's start off with Lady Fantastic, who I know has to chime out, and so do I, because I got to go bed in a minute. So, Lady Fantastic, is there anything coming up on your channel? Anything on your Instagram? Anything auction-wise? Anything that's going on? Period. Promote yourself.
I'm going to say yes. There'll be things coming up. What they are, I don't know. But yeah, I'll be doing stuff because I'm in the community, and you guys make me happy. And so I show up at stuff. But I'll be around. You can catch me. You know where my thing's at, my channel. And I want everybody to have a good one and, have a good night and get some good rest and all that. Get some good books.
And
don't spend your kids' college fund. It'd be sad.
Reminder, Lady Fantastic is one away from 400 subs. So
come on, everybody. One more, please.
In the description is a link to her YouTube page. If you have not done so already, go to her page. She posts fairly regularly. She is amazing to watch. She is amazing to look at. She is amazing showing her books. That is why she is, after all, Lady Fantastic. So thank you, Lady Fantastic, for tonight. We're going to be joining back next week. So let's ask Tony Fett. Oh, God damn it. My mouse does this every time I'm about to do something. It makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. Newsflash, everyone. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, here we go. So, Tony Fett, how about you go ahead and promote yourself? What's going on YouTube or Instagram?
I did meet a few new people today, so that's good. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tony Fett. I do just random videos, nothing crazy. Working on some cool stuff right now. Actually, if I could just figure out how to edit videos again, I think I'll be in business. But uh, this week we have the tournament going on, which both of you were part of, and Lady Fantastic won. This week we have the mighty Metarog taking on the always entertaining Dan Piercy. So it's I don't even want to spec because I'm probably going to be wrong. This should be a good fun. So
and Dan is in the chat right now. So
Dan is in the chat. So definitely check out Dan's channel. He does a really cool segment, Comics and Beer. Real quick videos, really fun to watch. Even his 30-second comic book rants are they're really funny. Give him a follow and check out some of his stuff too if you haven't. But I'm on the retro review. Oh man, I'm in trouble now. I forgot the name of the show I was on Saturdays. So that's always fun too. We're reviewing Death of Superman, and that's it. Thanks everyone for checking out Rob's channel. Don't forget to come back next week because I'm sure they'll have something cool to talk about.
One would hope so, right? I mean, after all, like as I told everybody earlier, Miracleman is out this week. He is dealing with some things at home, and that is up to him whether he wants to enlighten us what's been going on. But hopefully, let's wish him all the best, and hopefully he will be back next week. So everybody, smash that like button if you haven't so far. Sub each other up in the chat, and if you're watching as the replay,
she hit 400.
Yay! Congratulations, Lady Fantastic, 400.
Well, there's there might be some fickle folks because I know people like playing with your emotions, so I may, go up and down, and then generally, in about a few months.
Yeah, I've hit 253 3 times this week, so I know.
It's a fickle game, but
yeah, true.
It is. It was sometimes YouTube like randomly will remove or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 400 subs. You have to thank 400 people in order. So by alphabetical order.
In order that they subscribe.
Yeah.
Pretty fantastic. Just broke 400 subs. But for those of you that haven't subbed yet, please go do so because I only do this once a week. So just to remind everybody, we will be returning next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We do this every Wednesday. I know that there's other channels out there that broadcast at the same time. There's plenty of other content. I hope that you join us week to week. I thank all the subscribers. I like when new people come and see that, hey, this thing exists. Again, I'm glad that we have more than one person in the entire world that would even think to click on the button, hey, what's this Are You Addicted to Comics thing? Because you never know. You might find your new best friend, your new wife, your new husband, your new whatever, just because this is the comic community. So do smash that like, sub each other up in the chat. Do that also on their Instagram and Twitter if you can. And hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Otherwise, my name is Rob Wurst, and thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good night. Read more comics, and remember, rule number 1, don't die. Have a good night, everybody.
That's too funny.